Hi guys, Geek264 here, and today is the third episode of Pop Culture News. This is for the week of October 22nd, so let's go ahead and kick this thing off. There is going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean reboot from Disney. So right now they're talking with Deadpool writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. I think that's how you say his name. So obviously these Deadpool writers did a great job on Deadpool. I don't really understand how that equates to Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean has come up with 5 movies so far. And to me, the first one is still by far the best. There have been 5 Pirates of the Caribbean movies so far. You had Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, Stranger Tides, and whatever the last one was called, number 5. They've just gotten progressively worse as they've gone on. So I don't really see the need for this reboot. Also, Johnny Depp will not be returning. Not really a surprise with all the negativity with Johnny Depp in the news lately over the last few years. And honestly, Jack Sparrow's character hit its peak in the first 3 movies, and number 4 and number 5 he's just played out that character at this point. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Curse of the Black Pearl, it is one of my favorite movies. But as I said, the sequels have not really been that great. I'm not really interested in a reboot. There's not a whole lot of different stories you can tell with the Pirates of the Caribbean in my mind. And since there's no new way to take this story, I'm not really looking forward to it. But hey, we can see what they do. The Deadpool writers did great on Deadpool. I mean, if they end up tagging them for this new one, we'll see where it goes, I guess. Next, we got Wonder Woman 1984. That is the title to Wonder Woman sequel, for those who did not know. And it takes place in 1994, which is why it's called Wonder Woman 1984. Fun fact. So, this was originally supposed to be released next year, November 2019. That has been the release date for quite some time. This week, they announced a move, and it is being moved to June 2020. So here's the thing is I believe the first one came out in May or June. It definitely came out in the summer. So I guess they're trying to put it out around the same time that the first one was released, instead of putting it in the November, December, Christmas holiday time frame. So filming is still taking place. The principal photography is supposed to be wrapped up by December. So this is a 6-month shoot for this movie. That's kind of long for this type of movie. Usually you're running about 3 to 4 months. Obviously Wonder Woman is one of the only good things about the DC cinematic universe at this point. That was the only film that I would say is actually a pretty solid, good film. So I was looking forward to the sequel initially. I'm not a fan. They cast Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, and I think that's just... Maybe she'll do something with the role, but I don't understand that casting at all. I think that's kind of terrible. But I will definitely be watching this just because Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, like I said, is the best thing that DC has going forward. Especially now that they've lost Henry Cavill as Superman, which would be the second best thing, and Ben Affleck, who I actually did like in this kind of cinematic universe they built as Batman. I thought he did a pretty good job. It's just the stories that they've done with these DC movies is pretty much garbage. So, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe this Wonder Woman sequel will be pretty solid. Shazam looks good, and Aquaman is looking pretty decent. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll turn it around. So, keeping on the DC topic, Justice League director Zack Snyder has spoken out about his original ending to Justice League. Now, for those who don't know, he is basically the architect of the DC films. Now, here's the thing is his vision has definitely been tampered with by the studio. Batman v Superman, it happened with that. I don't really know what his vision is, and I don't necessarily think that his vision is really what the fans wanted, but it's kind of hard to tell where his vision ends and the studio's begins. So basically what this amounts to is he set up Man of Steel, he had Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad was handled by somebody else, and then he had Justice League. Justice League was pretty much completely filmed. He was quietly fired behind the scenes, and Joss Whedon was brought in to reshoot and re-edit a lot of parts in the movie to basically make it palatable for audiences, and that's per what the studio has kind of put out. So I'd say about a third of the movie was what he ended up reshooting, and you can clearly tell what was reshoots because they had to CGI Henry Cavill's mustache in the Justice League movie. The Justice League movie is not very good. At best, it's a 5 out of 10. But what's most interesting is that Snyder has not talked a whole lot about his cut of the movie. A lot of people were interested in what his version of Justice League would have looked like and if we were ever going to get a release of that version. So Snyder has come out and he has officially talked about what he was going to do as the original ending and his vision for what the Justice League movie was going to be. Now, his vision of the Justice League movie was a part 1 and a part 2. So at the end of this movie, the Justice League was going to be find the boom tube and then go either to Darkseid, Apocalypse is the name of the planet Darkseid resides on, or travel into space or something to that effect. Basically, it was all going to lead up to Darkseid. So Darkseid is the biggest baddie for the Justice League, really. And that's who people wanted to see in Justice League. We didn't care about Steppenwolf, which was the most throwaway villain ever. People wanted to see Darkseid. Scott Snyder was leading up to Darkseid, and that whole thing got thrown out the window. So that's kind of an interesting bit of news to come out so far, is just him talking about what his original cut would have been. Next, we got My Hero Academia. So this is an anime that's become very popular in America over the last couple years, and I have seen a few episodes. I look forward to finishing it. I do actually think it has a really cool plot, and I recommend checking it out, even if you don't necessarily like anime. I think it's a pretty good story. So Legendary Pictures has announced that they plan on doing a live-action adaptation of this anime for American audiences. There's been lots of anime adaptations over the last few years, and they've all been either mediocre or terrible. So I don't really see this as being anything good. Legendary Pictures has not done a whole lot of good stuff recently. Interstellar back in 2014 was pretty good. That's Nolan. I think that's the last good thing they've done. Since then, they've done Kong Skull Island, not very good. Pacific Rim 2, not very good. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, not very good. So, and Warcraft, they've done a video game movie. So, yeah. I would have to say that I don't know if this is going to be any good based on anime track record, Legendary Pictures, but hey, we'll see what they do with it. It's new, so I'm covering it. All right, so I don't know if anybody still watches the show Gotham. I gave up on it close to the end. I think I did actually finish season 1, but Gotham is just, it's not a very good show. The creator's come out and said that he doesn't like comic books. I don't know what possessed him to do an actual comic book TV show, but if you want to call it a comic book TV show. Anyway, they announced these pictures of Bane. That's supposed to be Bane, and that's supposed to be Solomon Grundy. What? Are you serious? Bane literally looks like one of the rolling cities from Mortal Engines. Like, that doesn't even remotely look like Bane. It is just utterly disgusting. And Solomon Grundy pretty much looks exactly like Hodor. This is Hodor after the White Walkers got him. That's what this is. And man, this is terrible. I can't speak to the story or anything else, just to what it looks like. It's terrible. And on a more serious note, John Williams, a lot of people may know who this is, but a lot of people may not. He is the composer of the greatest soundtracks in movie history. I'm talking Star Wars, Jaws, Close Encounters, E.T., Indiana Jones, like Superman. Like, he is Jurassic Park. He is the guy that created these movies because those theme songs are so iconic. He is arguably the best movie composer of all time. And he is in the hospital. Well wishes, prayers out to him. Hopefully he gets to feeling better. And Luke Cage Season 3 has been canceled. So this was actually last week, but it came out after I had already done the news release for last week. So I didn't get a chance to talk about it. Instead, I was still talking about Iron Fist. I'm really surprised that they have canceled Luke Cage Season 3. So I wasn't surprised that Iron Fist Season 3 was canceled, but audiences don't necessarily care for it all that much, and critics don't either. It's kind of middle of the road, and a lot of people were disappointed with the first season. Some people think the second season was a little bit better. But here's the thing with Luke Cage. The first season was great, and the second season was great. Yes, it has some weak episodes, and it probably could have been shrank down a little bit, but I think both of them are pretty good. I definitely think Daredevil is the top Marvel Netflix series, but Luke Cage I definitely put at number 2. And season 2 ended with a pretty solid cliffhanger that made me very interested in where they were going to take season 3. Now, with this canceled, I don't really know what they're going to do with the story wrap up. It looks like maybe Daredevil might not have a season 4. And Jessica Jones, I think, is currently filming, so I think they're going to finish out their season 3. I don't think we got a chance for Defenders, and honestly, I think this is pretty much the end of the Marvel Netflix shows, which is really disappointing. Honestly, I think Marvel's trying to wrap up these characters and move them on over to their streaming service that Disney's trying to build. They're trying to have Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and all this stuff and content on their streaming service, and they don't necessarily want to be sharing it among Hulu, Netflix, and whatever. So I think that's really what's happening here. I don't think that's really in the news. That's just my thoughts on why they're doing this, because there's really no other reason why they would want to pull like successful shows off of Netflix. Netflix doesn't put out the numbers for audience views, so you can't really tell what's a hit and what's not. But enough people I know love Luke Cage and watch Luke Cage that I'd be very surprised if they pulled it because of numbers. And the number one news story for today is that Red Dead Redemption was released this week. Now, I know a lot of people aren't gamers. I'm not a heavy gamer, but I'm really looking forward to playing Red Dead Redemption. And as we zoom out, you're going to see that I'm on my new set with Red Dead Redemption in my hand. I'm so looking forward to playing this game, and I'll probably be spending the rest of the weekend playing this thing. But I am also working on a Halloween special. I've actually been working on this for a couple weeks in preparation for Halloween, and we'll hopefully have it out this weekend. I don't want to wait all the way to Halloween to put it out. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So that was the news stories for October 22nd, 2018. Was there any news stories that I missed? Or if you have any comments on the news stories that I covered here, please comment below. Let me know. I'd love to have a discussion with you. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm GeekTrue64, and I'll always tell you the truth. But for right now, I'm going to go play Red Dead Redemption.